it's
Cool. Hello again. My name is Shada, and welcome to Strapi's first community call. I am very excited and happy to be having this call today. As a reminder, this call will be happening the third Wednesday of every month on Discord. We will be sharing regular updates and regarding future calls on the community call text channel. It's also the channel where you'd be sharing questions, suggestions, or concerns you have during the entire call today. So first, let's go over the objective of today's call. The community call is targeted at everyone who uses Strapi, that is the beginners as well as the experts who know the inside out of Strapi CMS. So the objective is connecting the Strapi team with you, the community who knows Strapi as much as we do, to share insights, learn it from each other, and connect and share insights as well. So shout out to you, the community, the Strapi team, the Strapi stars, and everyone who's here with us today. I hope you can still see my screen. So let's go over what we will be covering today. Getting involved with the community. It's something that we've been talking a lot about recently. So we'd love to get everyone from our community involved with us. There's a lot of different ways that we could do so. So I'm just going to mention a few ways to do so today, but feel free to ping me on Discord. I'm available during the day. We could take this discussion further. So one of the ways that I'd like to go over today real quick, meetups. So we had a meetup recently with Sad, one of our Strapi stars, and we'd like to expand more on the meetups happening. So feel free to reach out to me, and we could organize together a meetup. We could provide the help and support and the resources in terms of content that you need. Another way to get involved with us in the community is joining the Write for the Community program. So feel free to reach out to me if you have a tutorial that you'd like to write about. If you see a topic that is not mentioned on our blog, we have a lot of content that is regularly being added. So feel free to reach out to me, suggest some topics. You could check out on GitHub some open topics that the community requested. If you also think that there's a topic that we did not mention, feel free to ask, and we'd be happy to create some content around that topic. There are many other ways to get involved in the community. These are just a few of the things that come to my mind right now, but feel free to reach out to me on Discord. I'm always here. So let's get over the few things that we're going to cover today. First, some product updates. So every community call will have a group of product updates that we'll be sharing. Today we have Alex, our head of engineering, and Julien, who will be sharing some of the V4 updates. I know everyone is excited to learn more about the latest news around the release. So as I mentioned earlier, the objective of this call is to connect and share insights, but also to answer questions. So please, if you have any questions, concerns, please write to us on the community call text channel. We're here, and we'd love to answer all your questions. It's an opportunity to really get a direct answer. So the second half will be followed by a design system demo with Marvin, and followed by a plugin API demo with Remi. And each section, as I mentioned, will be followed by a Q&A. And finally, we have an exclusive announcement. I'm not going to share more about it right now, but it's definitely exciting, and it hasn't been announced before yet. So stay tuned. If you have any questions, please reach out to me on the community text channel or just ping me directly on Discord. So let's get started. Warm welcome to Alex and Julien.
Hi there.
Hi there. Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
Julien. Hello, Alex.
Okay, everyone hears me? Yeah? Okay. So I'm gonna give you a bit of an update about what happened in the engineering team, in the product team during the last couple of months. So as you may know, everyone in those teams has been focusing on preparing the new V4 version of Strapi. So what we released so far at the end of July, the team released an alpha version, the first alpha version, with the first lot of the design system components in a specific library. And in this alpha version, the main goal of this alpha version was to build the foundations of the V4, and it included the server and files architecture refactoring on the backend side. On the front-end side, it was about an admin panel architecture refactoring, and in parallel, regarding the REST and GraphQL API, they both have been refactored too in this very first alpha version. And once this alpha version was released and the design system repo released too, we and the team could start building the admin panel and migrate it under the new design system. That's what happened in the current in August, and it's still happening. And in parallel of this migration of the admin panel, the team began to develop and release the plugin API, the new plugin API. This was in the new alpha version at the beginning of September, the 4th, I think. Yeah, that's it. So this is where we are at the middle of the V4 development. And for more context and detail, I invite you to refer to the different RFCs the team published along the way while developing those pillars of our V4. And now we are targeting to release a beta, as you know, for the 29th of September. What can you expect for this beta release? You can expect to have a shorter build time, blazing fast admin, a super powerful query engine, and a brand new API, as I told you, and a new way of building plugins. You can also expect GraphQL and REST API revamped, and most of the views of the admin panel, not all the views, but most of them under the new design system. We'll probably miss a few views in the content type builder, which will be available under the former design system. And what we'll have to wait for until October in the stable. So what will the team will be working on during the month of October will be the new error management system. It won't be in the beta release, and the new query authentication system, also known as API token, which is almost ready on the backend side, but we probably won't have time to release and to develop the front end part of it. So that's it. This is where we are, and everybody in those teams, engineering and product, are striving to release the beta in time in the most successful way. So yeah. That's it for me. Maybe Alex, you want to add something, or?
Thank you, Julien.
No, not really. I'm here to answer a question if there are any.
If you have any questions, please do let us know. If there's no other questions, we could move on to Marvin.
Yes, hey y'all, super nice to see you here. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, it's so nice. So I will try, I'm working on the front end team and I will try to demonstrate what we've been doing during the V4. So the idea is to share with you a piece of the design system, the current state, and the different views that we've been integrating. I will try to share my screen, just let me know if it doesn't work. So let's start. Okay, can you see something?
Yep, all good.
Yes.
That's so great. So for those of you who don't know this already, we are working on this specific repository on GitHub, which is called Parts, which is actually the design system name. And so if you're interested in playing with the component and see what we've been doing here, you can, play with the storybook right here on the right side of the screen. So I won't browse every component. I just want to show you how it looks like quickly. So you can navigate between the section and just see the different components, or if you want to play quickly with it. And today I would like to show you what we've been doing on the admin panel. So here's the new admin panel. It will be quite complicated for me to navigate because I have to use a push to talk and it's on shift, and so it can have some weird behaviors. So just let me know if it doesn't work correctly. So this is the new login page. So that's basically it, with a bunch of new fields. We've integrated this one, the forget password page also, if I remember correctly. So you can already have a sneak peek of, these kind of things. Let's try to authenticate and to fail an authentication. So this is my username and I won't show you my password. Actually, I will show you it. So yeah, that's basically this. The credentials are invalid, and it's just an error message. I won't show keyboard navigation today, but that's the main idea. You can play with it. And so this is the new dashboard homepage, which is pretty amazing. I love it so much. It's so nice. Congrats to the team for having built all this stuff. It's so good. We started integrating this CM thing, the content manager. Supet is actually doing a lot of stuff on it. So you can see this new thing with this sub-navigation and all the different cities that exist in my application. On the right side, you can see the table thing. It's not perfect. We have some problems, but it's still in progress. It's an alpha, so it's okay, I think, to have bugs. So yeah, that's it for the CM. We still have some work to do. Also, Stefan has been working on the CTB, which is a very complex part of the application. So that's amazing that we've been iterating and just being able to ship stuff. So that's amazing. I love this one. Congrats, Stefan, if you're here. Also, we are actually integrating. Let me try this one. Yeah, it's not working for now. We've been starting working on the media library. So it looks like something like this with video previews, document stuff, images, can potentially add at some points with URL and all. So that's, we are iterating. So that's super nice. And also we've finished the settings, the different settings of the application. So you can play with everything inside here. I18N, media library, SSO, and all. So these pages are supposed to be done. They are actually in QA reviews because, we always ship bugs. So we need people to, to check what we've done. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't really know if people on the team would like to add some stuff about this, would like to see something special, or if you have questions. So yeah, just let me know. And I'm done again. Oh, sorry, I forgot something. If you want to see this kind of integration, we have a branch on the Strapi core code base. You can check out this one, run a YARN setup at the root, and you can see the actual state of the application. As I mentioned, it's quite buggy for now. We are still working on it, but if you are curious, you can just check this branch and you'll see some stuff about the design system. So yeah, I think I'm done. So I give you the speak, Shada.
Thank you, Marvin. Lots of interesting things happening. Anyone has any questions? Okay, moving on. Remi, are you ready?
Yes, I am. All right, so can you all hear me fine?
Yep.
Thanks. Okay, and are you seeing my screen as well?
Hey guys, sorry, quick question.
Yeah,
Yes,
go ahead,
go
Scott.
ahead.
Wow, this push to talk thing is super confusing. So I had a question actually about the parts. I had two questions, in fact. First is either you are planning or aiming to make the parts usable outside Strapi application as well. So in other words, if someone creates a React app, will it be possible to download and install Strapi parts as an NPM library and use it in the project? And I'll let you guys answer this and then I'll turn to my next one.
Who wants to take this one?
Marvin, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead. So right now, it's possible to use Strapi parts like any other UI library. It's not, there's no strong bindings with Strapi except, the style, the design system style the conventions that we've established for the UI part. So you can use it definitely on other projects. Right now, we are still using, not general styles, but global styles. And so you may have some problem because we use a specific reset CSS. But for now, there's nothing that prevents you from using parts inside another application than a Strapi plugin, for example. It may change with time, but right now it's not the case. So you can, just install it and play with it in your React application.
Awesome, thank you. And the second question is regarding the dynamic zone components. Specifically, I was wondering the other day if something like this would be possible in V4 where the dynamic zone component fields are collapsed so that if there are a lot of components in a dynamic zone, it's easier to kind of scroll through and navigate without needing to go through all of the subfields of the component of the dynamic zone, if this makes sense.
Yeah, the user experience in dynamic zones is very complicated to manage because there is this level of nesting. So this is something that we try to manage at the UX point of view. I don't have a strong answer for you right now, but I can tell you that we are working on it with Maeva, which is leading the project, the design system project. So maybe at some point we will manage to have something very, very nice to use. So we'll take your feedback and thank you for this.
It is already planned to make them collapsible in the new designs with the V4. So all components from a dynamic zone will be collapsed by default and you'll be able to either open or close them.
Oh, that's awesome. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So at the bottom there, what I did is there is the red disconnect handle for the phone, and next to it there's the microphone. And with the microphone there's a little chevron that goes down. If you click on it, you can open that, not drop down, but pop up, and there's a voice settings item. So if you click on that, I'm not gonna click it now because I'm not sure if it's gonna throw me off the stage, but basically if you click on the voice settings, there's an option to configure or record a shortcut key for the push to record. So you just need to click on that field. I personally did what someone mentioned earlier, the shift key, and then once you record it, and then you can just press it, and then you can talk. Yeah, no worries. I hope that helps.
I think we had a question in the chat. How much percentage is the design system done so far?
That's a very good question and a very hard one because we are trying to find the good abstraction at the good level. It takes time, and we've been implementing, I would say, 70 to 80%. But in the future, maybe we'll shift some component from core to the design system or vice versa. So I'm not strongly confident about numbers concerning this kind of projects, but I would say that we are close to 70 or 80. And we still have some bugs to manage, which is probably the biggest part of the project actually. So I would say these numbers, if that makes sense.
Cool. I don't see any other questions in the chat.
You can
Other
go ahead, Remi.
concerns? I think, Remi, you can go ahead.
All right, I'll go ahead then. Second try for the plugin API presentation. So let me share my screen again. Okay, can you see everything? Yes.
Yep, you're good.
All right. So, well, first of all, as Julien said earlier, we're going to have a brand new plugin API as part of the V4 release. So I'll be doing a small presentation to tell you more about that new plugin API. Then I'll show you a brief example of how we updated the Sentry plugin to that new plugin API for V4 support. And then I'll quickly do a teaser of the new Strapi Market that the expansion team has been working on. All right, so first of all, about the plugin API. Why do we need a plugin API at all? Like, what's the problem with V3 plugins? And the problem with the plugins on V3 is an implementation detail, which is that we rely entirely on the file structure. And that technical decision means that we have no flexibility on the plugin's code as a plugin developer. And we especially have no flexibility when it comes to the structure of our plugins. And that can be quite problematic to scale a plugin. That can be a problem to scale down. So for example, if you have a very simple plugin that does only a single thing, like for example, registers a single service, for example, then you're still going to have a complex file directory for your plugin. But it's a much bigger plugin for very big much bigger problem for very big plugins. So for example, internally, we have the content manager or the content type builders, which are built as plugins, which are very hard to maintain on the V3 because we have no flexibility to split our code base into several directories and to do everything that we want to support the scale of a big project. It's also a problem because it becomes almost impossible to use transpilers. Like you have to write native Node code. So that means, for example, that it's very hard to use TypeScript to develop a plugin. And for us, the core Strapi maintainers, it's also very hard to evolve and maintain, because every time we do a change in the Strapi core code, we have to worry about not breaking the plugins, even though it can be on, for example, only a simple implementation detail change. And for all of these reasons, like file-based plugin systems are just not current best practices at all. And that's why we're moving away from that system. So what's the solution for V4? Well, the solution is that instead of relying on the file structure for the plugins, we're instead switching to a programmatic API, which means that there's only one place where your plugins can interact with Strapi. And that place is either the Strapi server file or the Strapi admin files. So all of your plugins functionalities have to be registered in either of these files. So if you're customizing the Strapi backend, that's going to be in the Strapi server file. And for the front end, for the administration panel, that's going to be in the Strapi admin file. And this simple change of approach actually brings a lot of benefits. First of all, it's much easier to use transpilers, because you can do whatever you want with the file structure as long as you keep these two files. And because you can have your own custom file structure, that means that it's much easier to set up, for example, Babel or TypeScript, for example. It's also much easier to scale up and down because you have full freedom over your project structure, and you can actually split it as you want as your project scales. And finally, the APIs that are available to plugins, for example, like the ways to register a new service, to access the content types, etc., are much easier to find using these new two files, which are Strapi server and Strapi admin. And also for us, it's a lot easier to maintain, because we can change the implementation details of Strapi without worrying about breaking the plugin systems. So now I'll show you quickly what this V4 plugin system means through the example of how we updated the Sentry plugin. So for this, I'm not going to do a live demo of the Sentry plugin, but I will briefly show you an overview of the code of the plugins. So here I'm on GitHub on the master branch. So that's the branch for the V3 code on the Strapi plugin Sentry page. And you can see that there's actually quite a lot going on in terms of directories, even though it's only a very simple plugin. And if I'm not aware of how Strapi application is structured in terms of file, then I may not know where to look for things. For example, I'm going to dig and try to find here what's in controllers. And if I open it, I find that it's only an empty file. So that's what's a little bit frustrating about the V3, that it's difficult to explore the code, because you don't know what to look for and you don't know where to look for it. Where here I'm on the releases/v4 branch. So this is a branch where the Sentry plugin has been updated for the plugin API is. And if you ignore all of the dot files, so the configuration files, you can see the Strapi server. And if we open it, and I'm going to switch back to my slides where I have a screenshot of that file. And if you open it, you have pretty much an overview of the entire plugin's functionalities. You can see that all it does is export a bootstrap function, some configuration, middlewares, and a service. And we can actually, well, if we were in a code editor, we could just click on these requires, and that would just bring us to where the custom code is. And so that gives us a very good overview of the plugin's features at a glance. And the other benefit is that you only use the APIs that you need. So for example, here we are not using the controller, so we don't have to deal with them at all. So there are no unnecessary APIs or no unnecessary files. And the directory structure becomes much simpler. So that's for the brief overview of the plugin API. But of course, if you're a plugin developer, you're not just going to want to code the plugin, you're going to want to make sure that your plugin is widely used and very visible online. And that's the reason why we're working on the Strapi Market. So I'm going to share with you just a little sneak peek of that Strapi Market, which is our new marketplace for the v4 and v3 plugins that is coming, that will be published later. So here I'm just sharing a sneak peek. So these are two screenshots of the designs that we've put together. The first one is for the list of the plugins. So we can see that this is the online marketplace. So it's the one that's going to be hosted on the web, where you can see that we will be featuring some plugins, whether they're made by the core team or by some community members. And each plugin will also have its own page where you can have screenshots on documentation on all the statistics you want. So it's going to be an experience more similar, for example, to the VS4 marketplace that you may be familiar with. So that's what the expansion team will be working on for the next few months. Sorry.
In the text channel. So if you have any questions for Remi, please let us know. Suggestions, concerns?
I have one.
Yes, please go ahead.
So actually two again. First is when are you guys looking to ship the first version of this? And the second one is, will the descriptions for the plugin readmes be pulled from the README MD file, for example, or is it something that we will need to maintain in some other way?
All right. So about your first question, which is pretty much an ETA, like when can you expect this? I don't have any date to share with you because we're currently in the process of evaluating all the files and we're not ready yet to make any promises that we won't be able to keep. So we don't have a date estimate. And about the documentation page, you'll have to submit a form when you actually want to publish a plugin on the Strapi Market. And on that form, we're going to have a Markdown field or an HTML field where you'll be like pasting all of the documentation. So we will not be fetching the data from NPM, but you can copy and paste it into the Strapi Market if you want. Does that answer your question?
Sorry, I forgot to press the shift. Yes, thank you.
No problem.
Looks like Audrey might be having a problem. I'll relay the question. Will it be possible to customize the existing Strapi UI with the help of the plugin API?
Yes, it will be. And Supet, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. But so the concept is that you can use the Strapi admin file, so one of the two files that you can use to hook into Strapi in a plugin. And through that file, you'll have access to what we call the injection zones. So those are areas in the Strapi administration panel that you can customize by injecting new components. So for example, if you want to have a new item in the sidebar, you could do that. Or if you want to have a new call to action next to the save button in the content manager, you would also be able to do that. And yes, you can also use the Strapi parts repo from NPM so that your extensions will integrate seamlessly with the new design system.
Okay, now you can hear me, guys, right?
Yep, all good.
Okay. I have a question because you guys were moving to scope packages, so at Strapi with the NPM packages. It was more so for me a question: do you guys expect us to use that, or with community packages? And is this some? Are you required to publish in a scope?
The plugins, you can now basically publish a plugin without any name convention. So there will be no restriction anymore. You just detect the plugin by looking at the package JSON, or if you point to a specific file on your storage, on your disk, for example, if you want to use a local plugin.
Yeah, I understand it's not it isn't required, but is it something you need to be included in the marketplace? Sorry, that's more my question. Is it a requirement from you guys to have a validated plugin?
We won't look at the package name. We just look at if it matches the conventions, the security, and that kind of stuff. Unless the package name is harmful, of course.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, I have a quick follow-up question on this too, if I may. The plugins that are published to NPM registry, will it still be possible to install a plugin not from Strapi Marketplace, or it will be exclusively through Marketplace?
Install a package with NPM. No questions about that. We won't change the behavior. The marketplace will just make sure that the package is verified and we trust it. So it's more of a trust. And it's also about having some automation around those at some point versus doing it manually. But if you want to do it manually, you will have NPM for it for sure.
Awesome, thanks.
Coming back to a question from the chat, the theme colors for this is regarding customization. Customizing theme colors if the fields in the content builder are resizable, or whether or not they have more control of how the layout of the fields is.
I think I've answered this question on the chat, but basically at some point, yeah, you will be able to extend themes and override the colors, for example, for your use cases, or to rely on some themes that we will build in the future. And I think that for the customization about the size of the field on the page, correct me if I'm wrong, Supet, but I'm not sure we'll modify this behavior. I think we will keep something similar. Can you confirm this, Sup? User left your channel.
I can confirm. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, thank you.
And one more that wasn't really design system or plugin API related. Any change? We're going to support TypeScript by default, so a TypeScript project can be converted, or etc.
Not planned right now. You will be able to develop the plugins in whatever language you want, because you just need to have a strapi.server /server.js file only. But for the customization, you will have to do some setup to load the .ts files, for example. So there are some PRs that were made in v3, and I think we just make sure that we can finish those for the beginning of the v4. I'm not sure for the first release, but that's something we try to do before the end of the year, I think.
Guys, do you still use Buffett.js as a component library or no? Thanks.
I'll answer. Sorry, Marvin. No, so the plan is to get rid of Buffett.js instead, use only the Strapi.parts library, just one design system.
Strapi parts is own set of components. Does it use some kind of library like Material UI or something like that? No?
No, it doesn't. It's fully custom code that we built from scratch. We are using style components, for example. We don't use any UI library.
There's another question in the chat. Will current plugins be migrated and still maintained by the Strapi team, like email providers, etc.?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question, Jarek.
What was that?
Can you just repeat the question?
Yeah, will the current plugins be migrated and still maintained by the Strapi team, like email providers, upload providers, etc.?
Yeah. Every existing library that we built in V3 will exist in V4 for the email, the uploads. Only old hooks will be deprecated. So it's hook EGS, hook Redis, and the middleware views. But the plugins that were in the monorepo will stay in the monorepo, and we'll continue to maintain them.
The same for connector mongoose also.
So in V4, there won't be any mongoose connector yet.
Yeah.
As we drop Mongo. And there won't be any connector anymore. It's really just one DB package.
Next question from Saad is, for example, if someone is migrating from V3 to V4 is going to introduce breaking changes question. For example, if someone's customized extended users permissions, custom controllers or lifecycle hooks, will there be needed changes to logic there?
Yeah, so in V4 we are doing a lot of breaking changes, so all the custom code will have to be reviewed.
I think we'll probably have more information about, more detailed information about breaking changes once we get into the beta stage. So next one, that was a push to talk.
The extension system will be the same, right? So to go further on Saad's question, if you have extended the file, is it the same logic to extend plugins?
Actually, no. So the way you extend plugin is going to be programmatic. So it depends if you are talking front end or back end, but I'll talk about the back end. You can't just replace a file anymore. You can still do it if you want to fork a package. That would be the go-to if you really want to rewrite a file entirely. But if you want to do some basic customization, then you have a new API to customize. So you can pass a function, you will receive the plugin with the middlewares, something that Remi showed. Basically receive that and you can change the plugin, or there are some functions you can call to extend. It's going to be documented, of course.
Yeah, so you're overriding the functions that exist.
Yeah, exactly. And you actually get the access to the old function, contrary to the V3 where you don't have access to the old function, you just override the file entirely. With the new system, you will get the instance of the, for example, if I take a service, when you extend a service, you will take the old service as a parameter and you will return a new instance. So you can call the previous function. So you can do a lot more customization without having to rewrite or copy paste the previous code.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so you don't need to check the whole file for any changes. And yeah, of course you can always use patch packets, Derek.
Question from Sunny Sun. Are we going to keep multiple database connections?
No, that was something that didn't work in V3, so we dropped it. We might reintroduce it later on, but that's not something that we plan to do in the short term.
A key mention on that too, by the way, we've actually dropped Bookshelf as a dependency. The new database connector is entirely just using next.js. Next, KNEX.js.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay. One question is there a possibility of actually creating dynamic content while typing it? So in terms of the relationship fields on the end, we have to first create the, assuming we are doing a blog post category, we have to first create the category and then come back and add it to the post. Is there a way you can dynamically create it? Is that something on the roadmap?
I'll take the mic. Correct me if I'm wrong, Julien, but it's not something that it's in the roadmap. We really want to focus on defining your schema, then you can contribute to it. So there is no something like dynamic relations for now. We might introduce new types in the future that will allow that kind of things that you are mentioning, but it's not in the roadmap right now.
Just a point of clarification. So we still have to go and create the first the category and then come back and add it to the post, right? That's how it's going to be for some time.
Yes, for the V4, yeah, for the V4 release at least.
Good.
But
Thanks.
it's something we got in mind.
Sorry, maybe I've missed it, but how long after the beta release will the stable be? What do you guys expect?
Currently, we are expecting 1 month of beta testing and a release at the end of October. So 1 month.
Okay, great.
Any other questions?
There was one in the chat. I probably already know the answer to this. Will the media library have folder support, categorizing media files and folders? I believe the answer to that is no initially, but it is something that's on our radar.
Yeah, the issue at least is on our radar, but the media library won't have the folder support at the beta release, nor at the stable release for the V4.
One more question. You guys won't be killing V3. We'll still have options to opt in to install the stable V3 version. The answer to that is yes. The V3 will still exist and we'll maintain security updates on it for 6 months. Following that, then all development will stop on V3, but you'll obviously still be able to use it.
Want to answer, Alex, on the long-term support?
I think Derek said everything.
There was another general question too. Will we still be using product board for a roadmap website? And if no, to what will it change and when? It's to be decided at the moment. We're working on something internally at the moment.
We're almost out of time. If you have any other questions, please do let us know.
I have a few questions regarding ORM. As far as I remember, it was bookshelf. Is it still used in V4 or is it changing? And I'll let you answer this and continue with next.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So no, we are not using Bookshelf anymore. We're only using Next.js as a SQL query builder, but for the rest, we have implemented our own database layer. So I wouldn't say it's a fully fledged ORM. It's really focused on what Strapi needs for data management. And hopefully you will see the difference in terms of performance and also in terms of flexibility and of queries. If you haven't seen the RFC for the query engine, I really encourage everyone to go and see it. It's on the Strapi/RFCs repository on GitHub.
Thanks. And one more question regarding support of Apollo Federation. Recently, they had an update where you have to compile all the federated schemas to stitch them at build time. Is it going to be supported in Strapi? Thanks.
So yeah, we are actually moving to the new Apollo GraphQL version for the V4, and we actually saw that. So we are investigating right now how we will be able to handle it. Hopefully, we can release that with V4.
If you will be able, please do, because we are using this feature. Thanks.
Yes, Maddie. Is there any plans for custom fields with V4?
It depends on the definition, but like the generally accepted one is no custom fields for the V4 release. But with the new architecture, that's something we'll be able to support, which is a good news because in V3 there was no way to implement it. So that's one of the features we will do for. So yeah, hopefully it will come in the future.
Yeah, a key thing to note that comes up a lot when I'm talking with everyone from the community. V4 is a prerequisite to a lot of the things that we wanted to build. V3 just provided too many restrictions that we weren't able to work around without making a lot of breaking changes. So.
Okay, I guess that's it. It's time for the final exclusive announcement. So after the success of last year's StrapiConf, we're actually looking forward to organizing the second edition of our Global User Conference, second StrapiConf happening on March 2022. So more details coming soon, a blog post hopefully next week, and more details about the speakers, the theme, and other details around the conference. So we'll open pre-registrations for the event as well. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's call. If you have any suggestions, if you'd like to join or participate in the next community call, please reach out to me on Discord. If you have any questions, the text channel is there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the community, Strapi team, and the Strapi stars.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.